Hello, I have something sad to talk about today. I want to first show this painting that I made. Made this painting after my dog Kenny died in December 2016 and finished it around January or February 2017. This painting is called Grief. It's standing on a mirror. This is me with my head hanging down. So I want to talk about death today because my best friend Barbara died. And I will use this clay to calm my mind down a little bit, and so I can also ponder and think better what I'm doing, what I'm saying. So I talked to my brother earlier for several hours, and he called me on Google Hangout and he told me what happened. The blue card. And Barbara had an illness which she played down to me in emails, and I was very concerned about this. And she said, "Oh, it's not so bad. You know, it was about half a year ago when that started, when she was diagnosed with something, some kind of autoimmune joint inflammation or something, and she had trouble with joints and trouble walking, pain, and all. Also, you know, pain is always a sign that there's something inflamed. And I told her that I've done excessive research on the flower hydrangea. It is a blue flower, and it also sometimes comes in purple and pink colors, pinkish shades, but it usually comes in a blue, not this blue, but a blue that is absolutely amazing. It comes in this blue here, the flower hydrangea. This is blue. And we have one, we're lucky, we have one in front of our house, at the other house. And I offered to send her petals. She didn't want me to. She said they have a great herbal market there, they get everything there that they can think of. And but she didn't say she was gonna buy some. She didn't say that she was gonna look into it more in depth. So instead, as they all do, almost all humans do, you know, whether they're anthroposophists, which Barbara was, or whether they're atheists, or whether they're religious, or whatever is their worldview, and they all run to the doctor. You know, the doctor is always the physician. And I'm not blaming them, you know, they're just not consciously aware of it. But the physician has been glorified by society and put into a position, into a godlike power position in the minds of people. And the same happened with my friend Birgit. I met her at the center. She came back to Germany to be with her grandchildren, and things were bad there. She was suffering, didn't have enough touch, didn't have enough love. Birgit got cancer. They did chemotherapy with her. They burned her body out even more. And so when I heard like a week or so ago, when I heard that Barbara was in the hospital and they were going to be doing chemotherapy with her, I had this feeling which I suppressed in my brain. I didn't want that voice to say it to me, but that voice, that inner voice already said, that's the end. It is the end. When you bombard your body with chemotherapy, it's the end. It really is. And it made me cry, it made me grieve, and it made me very angry with when Birgit died and when Barbara died. It made me very, very sad, heartbroken, and angry. They were both angel souls. Now they can find each other again in the Amazon rainforest. You're free now. So, in the infinite cosmos, nothing gets lost, okay? Nothing ever gets lost. It just changes shape, it changes material. It's a constant shape-shifting process that's happening in the infinite cosmos. Constant shifting and constant metamorphizing from the caterpillar to a butterfly, from a human to a parrot. An angel soul can take on any shape as any other soul can. Birgit became a parrot, so Barbara might join her there, and they can be friends together again, in freedom, real freedom, without society, without words. That's what Jiddu Krishnamurti said to Dr. Alan W. Anderson at Cal State San Diego. He said, when you really listen to someone, when you really listen, then it doesn't matter what you say. And Dr. Anderson laughed because he realized the truth of it. That's why animals, they don't say anything in words. Usually, there are some. Some do. Parrots can pick up some words. And chimpanzees talk in sign language. Barbara didn't suffer very long. It didn't get really bad until about 10 days ago or something. and she got hospitalized. They helped her. They managed pain, but they did the harsh medication, and the harsh medication ruins the rest of the already damaged immune system. That's what it does. Hospitals, with the knowledge they have, and the doctors, the knowledge they have, the only good thing the only good thing, maybe there's a few other things, but the absolute main good thing about physicians and hospitals is that they have very good pain management. They have good pain medicine. But no, I have to also add that they don't know about plant pain medicine. There are plants that are even more powerful pain medicine out there. It is there. I talked about this before in my videos. And those plants, they don't hurt the environment, they don't pollute, they don't damage cells, they don't damage aquatic systems or the groundwater or the ocean. And they're even more powerful and even more effective, like kratom, for example. Kratom, also Pieris japonica, and salal. Those are the three that I know of that are already very powerful pain relieving herbs. And there are many others. And they don't cause addiction. They don't cause side effects. They cause minimal side effects. Maybe they slow down the heart rate a little bit. Some of them have to be taken in very minute amounts because they can slow down the heart rate quite drastically, as I have tested it on myself in 2013. I made a video about it called My Experience with Oleander, and it is on one of my dormant channels. I usually don't look those videos up. Sometimes I look them up to see if someone said anything underneath. And then I will say, hey, I got a new channel here, we can talk there. But since then I found out that it is not oleander, that it was Pieris japonica instead. So, and that's what the internet is for. We help each other with information, you know. One person makes a video and says, I have a flower here. You tell me what that flower is called. Because I can't put this into Google. I can't ask Google, what's this flower? Because Google doesn't have this visual recognition system yet where it could then give me the name of the flower. That will come. It's going to come too. That's going to be coming if it's not there already. So, you know, some kind of app where you can put a photo in of a plant and the app will tell you what the Latin name is and what the common name is and so on. Maybe it will tell you the name in every language. So plants are there for us, I tell you. They are present from this earth. And the clays from volcanic ash, they are intelligent. They are there for us. They offer themselves to us. They used it in Chernobyl. They poured zeolite clay on the entire nuclear reactor to neutralize and absorb all the toxic material, all the radiation material. It saved animals and people, saved their lives. The medical industry, however, wants to conceal that information. They don't want that information out. They don't want people to draw the line from A to B. They don't want people to heal themselves and detoxify themselves, because then they can't continue to prescribe the drugs, which they get paid for each prescription. It is about greed, it's about the ego, and the people who do it, some of them are doing it so automated and so unconscious even, that they forgot why they have become physicians. And maybe most people become physicians because they like to get the money. That's the only reason why some people become veterinarians or physicians. That's very sad. That's probably the majority. And also prestige. They think they get a better wife or better girlfriend. They get admiration from people, money, everything, except that what it's supposed to actually do, to help someone else, to relieve someone else's pain, to relieve someone else's suffering. Healing. The medical industry is not in for healing. Okay. Healing, that is left up to the herbalist, to the clay experts, to the naturalists, to the holistic practitioners. And that's why more and more people are eventually going to a natural health practitioner, or watching health practitioners' videos on YouTube. And so a lot of people stop going to the medical doctors or to the hospitals. They get their help in holistic healing. They get the help from the treasures of this planet. And so this creates a greed war from the medical industry. They are only interested in profit maximization, and this is a fact. I don't care if I get 100 thumbs down for this video. So every time I say something that is that is a painful truth, I get thumbs down. So go ahead. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if someone gives me any thumbs down or whatever people do. If you like my video, thank you. But I'm not making these videos for likes. I'm not making this for a subscription. I make these videos for myself. No, it's also selfish. I make it as my therapist. And if I can help someone with it, that would be awesome. But I can't count on it, What people do with that information, whether they listen or not, that is beyond my legislative influence. All I can do is I can offer this information, and say, look, this is what happened. This is what happened with Barbara. This is what happened with Birgit. Let their cases speak to the world, and so let people come to their own conclusions then with that. That's all I can say. And I find it important, and I find it that it is my responsibility to make these videos for the world. Even if no one listens, if I say, oh, no one listens at all, and why should I even make it? Then I'm very irresponsible if I say I shouldn't even make a video. So I think it is our responsibility. If we have a knowledge, if we have something that is of importance for other people to know, so that they conduct things better for other living beings and for all living beings, animals and people, then it is extremely important to make these videos. Very important. And it's an important medium, an important sharing medium. So I am very shy and I make these videos anyway, so that's another message in itself. Because the importance of making these videos, of bringing the message across through this medium, is more important than my shyness. It dwarfs my shyness. It puts it on a back burner. It really does. And why should we be shy? Why should we be so awkward and self-conscious all the time? Why should we be? Because some haters giggle about us, or because some haters feel cringy watching us? No, that's not good enough of an excuse not to make these videos. When it can help someone out there somewhere, someone who can identify with that situation. My message to you is clear. Chemotherapy does not work. It makes you sicker. And it even kills people. It kills billions of people every year. But no one talks about it. No one wants to caution anyone about it, because their gods in white have said that's what you need to do, and then people go and do it. I said to Birgit, you can heal yourself. Your body has the ability to heal itself. And she said, should I let myself die then? That is how far they have probed into people's brains. That's how far they have manipulated people's minds to the point where they don't see holistic healing or their own body's ability anymore. They have covered that over. It's overshadowed with the medical industry's propaganda. That's how far it has gone. And that's why I make these videos, because I see how far it goes, even in very intelligent people. It goes so far that they tune out of themselves, and they latch themselves completely onto the medical industry and their propaganda. I've seen it so many times. I've talked to many people about this. Including my parents, friends, family members, strangers, all kinds of people I talk to about this. And they're all equally on that brainwashing train from the medical industry. It's very sad for me to see. Why is it that I am not on that train? There are people that are more soul advanced than me that are on that train, and I am not. What is it? Maybe it has to do with my brain. I've always been an outsider, so when you've always been an outsider, then you have an advantage. You have the advantage to look at things from outside. And when you do that, then you see the whole picture. While you're immersed in that big picture yourself, it becomes very difficult to discern between A and B. The observer is also the observed. When you observe, you take your characteristics of that what you're observing with you into the observer perspective, and then you can't see the whole. And that's what Jiddu is talking about in every single one of his conversations. The question is, how does a person step away from that big picture, step out of it in order to see it from above? How do we do it? That's the question. How do we do it? And so they come to the conclusion that through meditation, through very deep introspection and meditation, and mindful breathing, through this calming down of the thoughts, we enter into a state of clear or much clearer insight, much clearer view of observing ourselves, our bodies, what's going on inside the bodies, what's going on inside of our brains, what kind of neuronal connections our brains are making, how they react and how quickly they react to certain things. And then we can become more clear and we can observe it. Oh, I see. This is how I reacted again. I reacted again to this or that, in a way that wasn't appropriate or efficient for me. So, and then when we have these insights, then we can work with that very well. And then we can observe and see, oh, the medical industry they have completely conditioned us. They have conditioned us to the point where we're so immersed in this entire thing. That's what they want us, where they want us to be also. We're so immersed in this entire thing that everyone around us is doing it. Everyone around us is thinking that way. Everyone around us, and no one ever questions it. The questions go in other directions, never in that direction. So, no wonder that so many people are brainwashed into this way of thinking. I'm sick, I gotta run to the hospital. That's the first thought. It's a knee-jerk reaction. That's how far they have conditioned humanity. It's very sad. It feels good to talk about this because this is all I have right now to offer to all of us. People who are mentally ill, people who suffer from depression. What it really is, it's a state of resistance to a specific thing that they are too afraid to talk about. Okay. It is a double, triple ego effect. That's all it is. It's ego resistance convolution. But instead they run to the doctor, they get prescription drugs for depression or anxiety or psychosis or schizophrenia. And then the body gets very sick. I got so sick from prescription drugs in 2003 that we tried to go hiking in the Santa Monica Mountains with our dogs, Ludwig and Samantha. And we were going up this one steep slope, and I was dragging myself. And I was not as heavy as I am now. I was dragging and dragging and dragging, and suddenly I felt so heavy and I felt so exhausted. And the thing is this, we blame ourselves. We think that we're just taking an easy cop out excuse to take a break. We think that we are just not trying hard enough. That's what goes through our brains then. I had to sit down on that hiking trail in that dust. Paul got mad. Why you can't you try a little harder? We can't make it up that mountain. And I said, sorry, I can't make it up that mountain. There are so many hiking trails, that go to beautiful hot springs somewhere along the coastline, between Salem, Oregon and Tijuana. So amazing. Such amazing hiking trails to hot springs. And, I would look through the hot spring book and I see, 8 miles up a hill, pretty steep slopes up to the hot springs. Oh boy, yeah. My brain already said thank you. It's already signed out before I ever even tried. And then I think, it's because of my laziness. And no, that's not what it is, okay? It's those pharmaceutical medications that are poisoning your livers. And then you blame it on yourself and you think you're just being lazy. No, you are exhausted. You are exhausted because your livers are exhausted. The liver is a detoxifying organ. It purifies your blood. That's what it does all the time. And when the liver is overwhelmed with too much toxins from the environment, too much toxic stuff, pharmaceutical drugs even, we're already bombarded enough with all kinds of pesticides and Roundup and glyphosate and 3D, whatever, 40, whatever these names are, unbelievable, horrible, sick-making stuff out there, that people spray in their gardens. They're killing their animals and themselves. Gets into the groundwater. And then people take pharmaceutical drugs on top of it that are totally poisoning people's livers or animals' livers. The entire aquatic systems and the ocean. But people take it because that's what they've been told their whole life. From infancy on. They say, if you're sick, you have to run to the doctor. No, it went so far that they have so much leverage that they have even incarcerated an herbalist, Dr. Scholl. Because Dr. Scholl was healing people. He was helping people cure themselves from the most lethal terminal illnesses you can imagine. That didn't sit well with the medical industry. They found out, they booked him. That's how far they have leverage. That's how far it goes. They have completely infiltrated our entire legal system. They have chipped away at our freedom of speech. They have chipped away at our personal choices, even. That's how far it has gone. That's even worse in South America. My friend Ruth told me that. She said it's what she told me. It's like 10 or 100 times worse even. It takes on another completely life on its own. That type of corruption, that type of internal corruption of the medical industry and other industries as well. The type of brainwashing and propaganda that is being spread, and the infiltration into the legal system, into people's legal rights, and so on. It is amazing what it does, how far they go. They don't shy away from anything. This is the truth. This is not some tin header stuff. This is facts. These facts are out there. This is happening. And I'm telling you, so you open your eyes and you see the problems for what they are, instead of running away, instead of blindfolding yourself. If we want to fix something, we have to first be willing to look at the problems, or we can't fix it. It would not be possible to fix it if we can't look at the problems. We want to make the world a better place, that's what I thought. So let's do it. Let's make the world a better place. If you're a lawyer, go into environmental defense, go into animal rights, go into the rights of habeas corpus, go into the rights of what our birthrights are, all of us, all the animals on this planet, what our birthrights are. Get into that as a lawyer. You can't make billions of dollars on that. I'll tell you that right now. And you're going to have roadblocks put into your path from all the corrupt people. But if you do it, you got my respect. Yes, you got my respect. And you don't need anyone's respect anyway. You don't need that. If you're a kind-hearted person, you do what's right. It's what Gary Inmendham said. You do what's right. And you do what's right because not because you believe that is right. You believe that's right, of course, but you don't do it out of a belief. You do it out of, you have to. You want to because you have to, and you have to because you want to. You want to help. There's a problem. There are beings, animals, and people suffering, and I have this tool here, and I can learn this practice, and I can learn this wisdom, or this practice of law, or this, I can learn to help, I know I can learn to help. I can learn the modality with which I can help. Maybe we can already help a little bit without learning it, but we always need to keep learning, okay? And so I do it because I care. Become animal rights lawyers. Become environmental defense lawyers. Like Stephen M. Wise and Robert F. Kennedy, just to mention two of these amazing souls. There are many, and they're not working to become famous. They're working mostly backstage. They're working in their own homes. They work hard to save lives. They do it. While the rest of humanity, most of them, 90%, 85% of humanity is working very hard in the other direction. So that makes the angel souls and the indigos work 10 times harder to bring things back towards well-being. So it's a tug of war. And my videos are an appeal to the public to, you are in this too. You know. Do you want to breathe bad air? Whatever your political views are, do you want to breathe bad air, toxic air? Do you want to put toxins into your liver, your own bodies? You know, that is my question. Do you want a polluted ocean? Do you want a dead ocean? Do you want the whales to die? Do you want to kill bees, ants, and earthworms that are vital to the chain of life that we depend on, every single one of us? Every being, every dog, horse, human, pig, cow depends on the insects, depends on every species there is. But there are hundreds of species dying every day because of human-made pollution. This is a fact. You can be in denial about it, but it's still a fact. The problem is still there, you know, until we are willing to look at it and say, okay, so I want to help. I want to do something about it. I want to become an animal rights lawyer, an environmental defense lawyer. I want the whales to be my clients, and the pigs, and the dogs, and the trees, and the forests, and life on earth. Life, you know, life is not just a human. Life. Life has many different shapes, can have this shape here, deep in the ocean. It's all life. There are octopus that are highly sentient and highly intelligent also. But IQ is not the only excuse to give someone the ticket for life. Gary talked about it too. A pig is not a trailer hitch. A pig is not a modality. A pig is not food. A pig is alive for his own reasons. He wants to enjoy too. He wants to run around on the meadow and eat grass. It's heartbreaking for me to see pigs in gestation crates and in factory farms cramped together, biting each other because they're in despair. People doing this to them, raping them and everything. The fear that runs through them, the adrenaline and the fear. It's a Holocaust beyond epic proportions. Much worse than what has ever happened to people. Much worse. It's magnified by millions of times what the animals are going through. But most people don't care. Most people don't look at it that way. Ego, self-image, you know. They're putting themselves above other species. They're all cousins. We're all related. Every life on earth is related. Some are very distantly related and some are closely related. So. But we're related. You're related to the trees, to the insects even, the snakes, horse, dog. So with the dog, what's pretty obvious, we can see it it's obviously, you know, my dog has a very similar arm, you know, with the shoulder just very short, elbow, hands with fingers, just shorter fingers, and they have platform material underneath. Yeah, but it's related, obviously. Yeah. Obviously, we have the same ancestors, so. But people don't make that connection. The ego doesn't want to make that connection in people that have become speciesist and religious. They don't want to make that connection. It's all very sad. So this is my invitation to the world. whoever you are, whatever you identify yourself with, you are a living being, okay? So my appeal to you, all of you, is dissolve the self-image making, dissolve the identification with things, and become you, who you really are, and help. Do something to help the world, make the world a better place. Okay? Get into holistic healing, research it. That is your responsibilities. Okay, take care.